Good morning, everyone. Welcome to On Deck here on the Fins Talk Sports Network. I'm Russ Morgan here with Rob Mosley. I'm back after my 1 week sabbatical in Cancun. Rob, it was unbelievable, but after about 5 days in Cancun, I couldn't take it anymore. I was exhausted. But
No, I can imagine sometimes you can't wait to get away to vacation, and then sometimes you can't wait to get back
I,
from
I,
vacation.
yeah, my thing on like the first 3 days of vacation are always great, and then it's always like you think you go on vacation, you're gonna relax. You're always doing something.
No, you're
It's so
all in
stupid.
it,
It's
especially
like,
for
yeah, I
your
gotta go.
sister's wedding and you're in Cancun, Mexico. At least you had a good time and you're
I had a
back
good time,
safely.
but they shove the alcohol down your throat, which is tough.
Yeah,
Sometimes you're just like, stop, please. And
yeah.
they're that's how they make their money. They want tips. So I
I know. And
understand
the
that,
more
but
drunk you get, the bigger tipper you give.
yeah, well, good thing I'm cheap, so they didn't get much from me. But we are Rob. We are almost about a month into the season, a little under a month. How you feeling about the season? Obviously, we know your Red Sox aren't there, but baseball's in the air. How you feeling
Yeah.
after a month in the season?
Actually, the Red Sox are playing better than I thought they would. With all the injuries that they've had, for them just to be, a couple games above 500, I'm actually pretty impressive because they've been beat up with injuries. So I've caught all their games so far this year. Missed a little bit of yesterday's game because it was in the middle of the afternoon, and I was trying to still get some other stuff done, and I had all around the area.
Yeah,
Yes,
baseball is
we're
so
still
during the draft.
yes.
This is baseball season. The draft, is trying to impede on our turf. But no, we're happy. I love the draft. If we're talking baseball season during the draft, I'm like, you got baseball season. NFL goes into basketball goes into baseball.
Yeah.
The draft, basically football runs all
No,
sports right now.
like I always say, the NFL draft is the biggest non-sporting event. It's not really sports, but it's still related to sports, and it outdoes everything. If you turn on
Yep.
national telecast right now on all these ones that are supposed to talk about all sports, we're in the middle of NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, baseball season, and what are they talking about? The NFL draft. It just
I
shows the
mean, the
NFL.
NFL draft kind of, now don't get me wrong, I'm a massive golf guy.
Yeah,
I love golf, but the NFL draft kind of reminds me of golf as it's an ultimate spectator sport where golf
yeah,
is one of the ultimate spectator sports. You complain, you say you should have done this. The draft is that way for me too, because every fan's like, I got my own pick. This is what you should do. I know better than you. So it's just the ultimate, you know,
yeah,
spec- spectator sport for
yeah.
me. But we're here in baseball. We're a month in, which is always beautiful.
Yeah, it is
And
beautiful.
I mean, I'm with you too. I mean, if you're looking at the Red Sox at the beginning of the offseason to the beginning of the season, they didn't do much. They lost Giolito. They lost uh,
Trevor Story. They've lost
Trevor
so many
Story. So
people.
you don't think they're still over 500, and the AL East is looking really still competitive.
Yeah.
So I mean, we usually start off with the AL East. Obviously, we're both two AL East guys. Let's kick it off with the NL. We
Okay,
got the
real quick,
Braves.
let me say hi to Scotty and Adam real quick. And Scotty, I like the pick of Chop Robinson a lot. Good pick. That's it. We won't talk any more football, but Scotty's a big Dolphins fan. So is Adam. I like the pick. I'm not one of those guys complaining. I give it a thumbs up. Good job. Let's see what they do today. But now I'm baseball. So go
Well,
ahead.
Well, just for you, Adam, we're going to kick it off with the NL East. But if Bobby was in here, I might let's start talking about the Marlins. But Bobby doesn't like our show anymore, so he doesn't show up.
Well,
Uh,
Scotty likes the Yankees.
yeah. I got no updates on Cole. I heard he went back in for an MRI. And besides that, I haven't heard much. But I know they went back in for a second one. The bad one is DJ LeMay, who's starting to look a little slower, which I love DJ LeMahieu. I think he's a phenomenal player, but ever since they gave him that big contract, it has not worked out. And Oswaldo Cabrera is looking really solid at third. So I don't know what you do when if LeMahieu comes back. How are you going to bump this guy out who's looking, playing solid defense and swinging it with the bat? So, but the Cole updates, I got nothing. I know he went in for an MRI. I haven't got any updates on that. So I think they're treading water, looking pretty good without their their Cy Young. So let's kick it off. NL East, Braves, top of the NL East. They're 17-6. For me, I'm looking at the Braves. My thing is, when you look at the Braves, Marcell Ozuna, who's been kind of down for the last couple of years, is 344, 9 home runs, 29 RBIs, and a 416 on base
It's
percentage.
crazy. He's only behind Mike Trout as far as homers. So, and Mike Trout, we'll get to him in a few, but we know how good he is. So Zuna to be up there right with him is crazy. He's definitely that's a former Marlin right there. Speaking of the Marlins, so he's definitely having a great year, man. So we will see.
He's
His
having a great.
average, everything is up. OPS, average, everything. He's having a great year. So. And he's not in one of the first Braves you think of is what's crazy. So when all these other guys
yeah, I mean,
start getting
it's definitely
hot,
a bounce back for him.
yeah.
And,
once the other guys start getting hot, the Braves are going to be really tough to contend.
And
with.
you're seeing this with the Braves where they're kind of Ronald Acuna Jr. kind of started slow. He's picking it up a little bit now, but he started 281. But you're doing this 17 assists with your best player who started pretty slow. I mean, for me, you look at their rotation, and obviously, you got to really lose Strider for the year. My guy was always Max Fried, and he's 2-0 coming off his injury. You're getting Lopez is 2-0, and you're not getting much from Sale, and you're still 17-6. What do you think of that?
No, I agree, and I hope they don't get much for Sale because he was a former Red Sox. Once they're off, I never want them to get hurt, as I always say in football or whatever. But they're not wearing the laundry of my team anymore. I don't care about their performance. And in baseball, I don't have to worry about their financial. They're all making guaranteed money, so he's going to be fine. So I don't mind if he gets rocked around. Our guy that we got back for him hasn't even laced his sneakers up yet because he's been injured. So hopefully he's coming back soon. But yeah, the Braves though. They're still the cream of that division. I know Philadelphia will be in the playoffs too, and then
Philadelphia is looking solid. I mean, they're 16-10. Trey Turner's looking solid. Schwarber's got 6 home runs. I mean, that's another team where they're one of their main guys, Bryce Harper, started pretty slow too. Now he's picking it back up. For me, I'm surprised too because they're not getting Zach Wheeler's not pitching too good right now.
No, that's right. Some of these teams that are still doing okay record-wise, and some of their other guys haven't even stepped up yet. That's why they're going to be okay because it's going to return to the norm, and these guys are going to start doing what they normally do. It's just how baseball. It's a marathon, they say, not a sprint.
I mean. They're getting it from, was it Rangers? Suarez is 4-0, who is always a guy that if the Braves want to compete for World Series, he was going to have to pick it up because, as we all know, Rob, October time, you need 3 solid pitchers. That's how you're going to win. And Nola's been looking solid off that big contract extension he got.
We would get to the American League East soon. There.
Yeah. I mean, we always go with the East right off the bat. I'm gonna try to switch it up. I know I'm a big Yankees guy, Rob. You're a Red Sox guy, but we'll not try to be homers all the time. Baum is a guy I've liked since they drafted him out of Southern Miss. The Mets are surprising. After we all know Mets fans.
They're above 500.
Above 500. What, they lost their first 6 or 7 games. Mets fans they're Jets fans. They're negative as hell.
Yeah.
People are ripping the team, and now they're above 500. Starlin Marte's having a nice little comeback. Alonso's doing his thing. Severino has a 2.67 ERA. I'm gonna move to the Central.
What do you think about Alec Baum killing it?
I love that. I've always liked Alec Baum. I like his game. He's a good defensive player. Swings the bat good. That was a good pickup. And I think the Phillies got a strong middle with Trey Turner and Bryson Stott. So I mean, for me, I think both NL and AL East are going to be very competitive this year, and we're seeing that. Especially AL East is all above 500. Unfortunately, the NL East has the Nationals and the Marlins in there, so that won't happen. But I'm really for me, we'll move to NL Central, and this is kind of a surprise. We both talked about Milwaukee at the beginning of the offseason being maybe sellers, and they're right there on top of the division.
No, new manager, a lot of players off the roster, but yet here, I know it's April 26th, so there's a lot of time left. But right now, yeah, them and the Cubs they're a half game ahead of the Cubs, but it is what it is, man. They're playing way better than I thought. And my St. Louis Cardinals, who I thought was going to be the surprise team, they're still taking up the bottom of the division. So,
And I mean, you're getting this from, I think it's William Contreras, been 365. Wilson Contreras' brother. The one who's kind of Freddie Peralta's 2-0. Bryce Terang, very interesting for me. I know we probably don't have a lot of California guys in here, but he is a California guy. I think he's from Corona, Santiago. I'm 99% sure that's where he went to high school. When I scouted, that's where when we did the Inland Empire, that's where we did our showcases. Cubs are another interesting one. They're 16-9. Nico Harner's batting 300. Another guy we both like, Michael Busch, got 6 home runs, who could, be maybe a NL Rookie of the Year candidate.
No, they're like I said, they're off to a good start too, man. And I wasn't. Hey, but that's the Cubs, who has the Brewers manager, so it's funny to see them go and how that's gonna bail out this year. He's the highest paid manager ever, so he better manage well, and we will see on that front. But no, the Cubs are up there, and that Japanese pitcher, I don't even want to say his name. You can say it. You say it better than I do, but
well, now I'm going to mess it up because you said you can't say Imanaga. Emmy's 3-0. And I'm going to throw this at you. You think, as we're a month into the season right now, obviously, you got 100, how many more games to go? You think as of right now, he's the best international signing?
Yeah, so far, right now, he's out pitching Yamamoto, who's signed the record-breaking contract. Like you say, it's early in the season, early in their American playing days career. So Yamamoto may prove still to be the best one overall out of this class. But right now, and yeah, he's out here, he's balling. He's really giving them. I mean, it took a long time for someone to get a run off him, So it's he's definitely having a great year so far.
What he's got a .84 ERA, but yeah, I mean, and that's what I heard about him. I mean, I know the Yankees weren't interested in him because he's more a fly ball pitcher, and you don't really want to be a fly ball pitcher in the AL East. But I mean, guys looking really good. We can move to the NL West. Obviously, it's competitive. The Dodgers, surprisingly, 11 losses, but you're getting Mookie Betts is batting 374, 6 home runs, 21 RBIs. Ohtani's batting 358 with 6 home runs. Will Smith, 352 with 18 RBIs. If you're getting that from your catcher, and I think Will Smith's one of the better defensive catchers in the game, you're getting 18 RBIs and the guy's batting 352.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. And Ohtani's hit a ball. He's the leader right on as far as hitting the ball, max velocity off a bat. He hit 118 miles an hour. That's crazy off the bat. Man, can you imagine being in the line of that? Man, I wouldn't want to try to catch that ball. 118.7 miles per hour off the bat. That's just incredible.
And the other, a guy we liked the trade. I didn't want him to go to the Dodgers, but I'm glad he's out of the AL East. His Glass now is looking like an early Cy Young candidate. He's
he's definitely the best pitcher on the Dodgers right now.
Best pitcher on the Dodgers, 4-1, 2.92 ERA, 44 Ks.
Yeah,
It's
no, it's great, man. Like I said, wherever we were all talking up Yamamoto thing, and that's what all the team. I wanted him as a Red Sox guy. Never seen him pitch in America before in the United States, and I wanted him. And and he's the big signing. And I still think he end up being good because he has nasty stuff. He's just, it's a taking getting used to coming over here and playing in the majors. But yeah, right now, and that's a great pickup. And that was like an under the radar move by the Dodger because everyone was talking about Otani and Yamamoto, and then they add him, Glass now, and here he is tearing it up. I mean,
yeah, that was definitely like
shows
kind
how
of
deep the Dodgers.
the side moves where they add two guys who are one of the better. You add Glass now, who when healthy is one of the better pitchers, and then you add obviously we don't have Teoscar Hernandez, who was under the radar.
Yeah, another one under the radar. Yeah,
Under the
I
radar,
know.
but that was a phenomenal pickup too. And they're what they just got. They just brought up was it Andy Paganas? Who it's just like their scouting department does a hell of a job, and that's why they can get these
The
big
Dodgers,
contracts.
I don't know how they have it, but the Dodgers, to their credit, even though they don't win the World Series other than in the COVID year for a long time, but it's just for whatever reason, they're always really good because not only do they spend money to get the guys they want in free agency, they also have a good farm system, and they know how to. I don't know if it's coaching them up or just knowing who to sign. Whatever they do well in the Dodgers because you think, oh, they're going to be weak, and then some prospect comes up and it's like rookie of the year. So it's just
All right,
crazy.
well, let's get to the main division, the AL East, which
Not
is
that we're biased or anything, but it is the main division.
yeah, right. No, not biased at all. But I mean, you got the AL East, which is every team 500 and above in the AL East, with Baltimore and the Yankees. Baltimore 16-8, Yankees 17-9. Your Red Sox surprisingly 2 games over 500, which is very good for baseball. Obviously, hate the Red Sox, but it's always a good thing if you have the Yankees. You boost the ratings if the Yankees and the Red Sox are good. It's one of the best rivalries in all of sports. Uh, obviously, Jackson Holiday's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, he is. That's for sure.
And we've seen this in the past. I'm going to throw out a name, not comparing them, but we saw this in the past. Derek Jeter came up in '95 and struggled. They sent him back down, brought him up for '95 for the playoffs, but they sent him back down. Came back in '96 and was AL Rookie of the Year. Do
Yeah,
you think maybe they should send Holiday down for a little bit, get him a couple more ABs
that's
down
what
there?
I don't know. I was thinking the same thing. Do I think so? Probably yes. But then you get into the mental prospect. Oh, we're gonna send him down, and it's signaling him he's our future. But the kid's a baseball comes from a baseball family. He understands that sometimes teams are going to have to make moves for the better of the team and for the better of the player. So he might understand. Okay, I can go back to the minors for a little while because he was ripping it in the minors. He was killing it. So it's just I think he's probably pressing a little bit. He's trying a little too hard. He's putting undue pressure on himself, trying to show he belongs because he's so young and he's in the majors. So, I think he's probably putting more pressure on himself than the coaches are and the fans are.
I mean, the last time I saw he was 1 for 25. He still only got one hit, bat .59.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see that he's pressing a little hard because he is the number one pick, and everybody was talking him up a lot this offseason as a guy who's going to come up and help the Orioles win a World Series. So I'm sure he's pressing. He wants to, live up to it, which I think of maybe throw him down a little bit and get him a little more seasoning could be good. But I mean, it's another thing, a spoil of riches where Adley Rutschman, who's still 327. Gunnar Henderson's got 8 home runs and 20
Gunnar
RBIs.
Henderson's been playing off the charts the past couple of weeks.
And I mean, you got guys in their system like Heston Kjerstad would have been up with the big league club, any other big league club last year, and they're just loaded with talent, and obviously it shows because they're 16-8. Pitching wise, Corbin Burns still, he's 3-0. You're getting 3-0 with the .92 ERA, which at the end of the day, for my opinion, that could have been the move of the offseason.
No, you're right, 100%. And it was right there towards the end of it. They made the big trade, and I knew that was that signal to the Orioles fans. We're not just here to have the young guys and play for the future. We're here to play right now. Let's win it now. When you go get a 1-year rental that may very well want to touch the open market. And, so to me, that's just showed you, hey, we're going for it. Let's worry about next year. Let's win this year, and then all things will work out. So I like it, man.
The one thing where baseball differs from, say, football is you can't give that guy a franchise tag and then, hey,
No.
we got the right to negotiate with him, and if he doesn't, he's coming back no matter what. If he doesn't, the baseball is definitely the ultimate players league where it's like, hey, you want to test the open market, you get that opportunity, you go where you want. Whereas football, we're seeing these guys, they want the big deal and they can't get it done. But yeah, it's definitely, I agree with you, a big, move from the new ownership with the Orioles, that they're all in and they want to win, which is great because Baltimore is another great city.
And they've been down for way too long.
Way too long. Another great baseball town, obviously. The great Babe Ruth is from Baltimore. So,
it is what it is. And Will Spiel, now that he asked before I forget, Verdugo, yeah, I know he's doing okay for the game, but I don't mind what the Red Sox got back. Some of the pitching we got back is in the minors, but Will Weiser is pitching okay for us. And he has some, out of the bullpen. And I'm hoping Fitz ends up being good. So I'm okay with they were going to move on from him, so they had to get something back. So at least they got something back.
For me, I love obviously the Red Sox and Yankees rarely ever trade. I like the Verdugo trade because he's a guy who gets on base, solid defensively, and works the count, gets on base, and is now picking it up a little bit. Still under 300, but that's fine. We're young.
He's an okay player. That's about what you're going to get from him. But he's solid. I liked him okay. He was part of the Mookie Betts trade for us. That's how we got him here.
Well, but yeah, and Scotty, note, obviously I said we don't have, besides the MRI Cole had, we haven't got much updates. LeMahieu, I want to say started, but we'll see what he does with Cabrera. The Soto thing is definitely a toss-up. I don't think they're really gonna start talking contract till the off season, and then it could get tough because if you're seeing the way Soto's playing, this guy could ask. He's seeing all this money getting thrown around. He obviously turned down $415 million from the Nationals. 5 years ago? What is he going to ask for?
He's a Scott Boras client, right?
Yeah.
So Boras historically doesn't like doing extensions. He likes having the guys get on the open market and see what the market pays. This year it backfired him on a little bit. Maybe he could have signed extensions and got a deal better for Jordan.
I'm going to backtrack a tiny little bit. A Scott Boras client just made his first start. Blake Snell did not look good. What did you think of that?
Yeah, no, he didn't look great, that's for sure. And he's a little behind. Jordan Montgomery did they make their first start against each other or something like that? I don't know. I think they actually, I know they more or less went at the same time. And Jordan Montgomery was a little bit better. But
do you think for Snell,
I know Jordan Montgomery fired Boras, or let him go. But
do you think maybe it's because he missed so much time of spring training and that he's struggling?
Yes, maybe. And hanging around baseball players. All baseball players are creatures of habit, but then when you take pitchers, it's even a step above. They want their routine. They want to throw on every right day that they're supposed to throw. They want to do what they're supposed to do every day. That's how they do it. So him, I don't care if you're working out, no matter what, if you're not in a team's camp, it's not the same. You can throw every day like you say you're going to throw.
Guys. Scotty, what I'm going to say about Soto is I want the Yankees. I've changed my Well, I've always I've changed my mind. The Yankees better re-sign Soto
Well, the
because
fans seem to love him, and
he's the best player on that team. But the problem is the amount of he's right in his prime. He's 26. So you give him he'll get a 10-year deal. The problem is the Yankees have a lot of money sunk into, Garrett
Judge
Cole,
already.
Judge, and
When
is
does
Hal
the
Steinbrenner going to want?
when does Stanton's money come off the books?
Oh, the hell do I know? That's a long time. I think he might have 5 more years.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
a
he was
lot.
playing a little better this year, wasn't he?
He started to play a little better. I always trash Stanton because he doesn't do it in the playoffs, but that's how it works. I've never been a fan of Giancarlo Stanton, but yeah, starting to play a little better. Yeah, Soto is the best player on that team. I think
So you say he's better than Aaron Judge?
yeah.
So I know Aaron Judge, he's still struggling. I know he was earlier in the
Yeah, he's
season.
still struggling a little bit. Started to hit a couple home runs. I'd rather have Soto. Soto's just this guy's got the plate discipline. Judge doesn't have that plate. Soto's plate discipline's insane. He is a stud, and I think you have to do it and just eat it because this guy's obviously appealed himself to the fan base as a guy he's loved, and I think you got to put butts in the seats. So
Yeah, no, for sure.
I really hope they do, but we're already seeing people talking about the Mets are already in them, and we know Steve Cohen's checkbook is astronomical.
Yeah, I know. Hey, it is. That's for sure. So, and I know, like I say, Boris is going to probably test the open market. That's just how I look at it. I mean,
Yeah,
the Yankees been
I
great. I
agree
mean,
with
the
you.
Yankees,
Boris
yeah,
doesn't like to do mid-season contract extensions. He likes to get as much money, and a guy like Soto, as opposed to maybe Montgomery and Snell, he's going to get his money no matter what because this guy produces.
yeah, oh, for
He's not
sure.
going to have lack of suitors. Uh, but I mean, I'm happy. I'm Baltimore is going to scare me all year, but if they can hold on to this and stay close until Cole comes back, it's going to be great because the pitching staff has looked solid. You're getting good from Clark Schmidt and Luis Gil, I think is how you say his name.
Hey, you say names, but I don't even try to say names when I can't. Okay.
And Stroman's looked good, Rondon's looked good, Nestor Cortez not as much. Obviously, had to give up 3 runs yesterday to an A's team, which I want to get to a little after. Let's move to the Central, which I think the Central is really exciting for me. You got Cleveland, who lost Shane Bieber, and they're still they got one of the best records in baseball.
Yeah, I know, and they've been beating up on my Red Sox the past couple series, but it is what it is. But yeah, they're at 18-7, man. They had the best record in baseball, so
The
it's
other one, and I thought it was going to be a surprising team. Which is Kansas City, which is getting, it's right there, 16-10. A guy we were high on, Bobby Witt, who is batting 308, 357 on base percentage, is a guy we were both really high on.
yeah, no, he's really good, man. That young man is great. He's good in the field. He's good with the bat. He's just overall a great player.
Oh, yeah, nice young. We got some really nice young shortstops. Obviously, Anthony Volpe for me is a guy I love.
And then you
Bobby
got
Witt,
Gunnar Henderson and all that.
Henderson,
You know,
Witt.
no, it's
Unfortunately,
a
the guy,
good young era for the shortstops right now, and so
yeah, it's always good. Obviously, we had that back in the day when you had A-Rod, Nomar, Jeter, Miguel Tejada, so it's always good.
yeah, no, I agree. Well, that's why
But
teams draft shortstops a lot because they figure they're normally the most talented.
now I'm gonna look at this. If you saw the Padres, look at the Padres lineup. You got you got Fernando Tatis, former shortstop playing right field. You got Bogarts, former shortstop playing second. You got Hassan Kim, he's playing shortstop now. You got Manny Machado, former shortstop, playing third. You got Jackson Merrill, former shortstop, playing center. And then you got Jake Cronenworth playing first, who's a former shortstop too. I mean, I kind of see it, and this is a Florida guy I've always been pumping on this podcast, Kevin O'Sullivan. When he recruits shortstops. So maybe it's like, we see all these guys. The Marlins did it. They draft shortstops, and they're the most athletic player on the field, where you play anywhere.
Yeah, no, that's why they do it, because they figured if they can play shortstop, they can probably play in the outfield, other infield positions, and it's just how it outside of catcher they can almost do it and pitch. They can just about do everything else. So yeah, that's why I think, because the Red Sox there for a couple of years drafted shortstop with their first pick for like a few years in a row. And everyone's, how many shortstops do you need? But they don't realize that they'll probably project somewhere else, eventually. So we shall see.
The AL West for me is boring as can be, but I mean, you're all pretty locked up there with, Seattle.
Right now the Astros, I guess I'm starting to think maybe the demise of the Astro is, I keep on thinking they're going to have a run, and they still can. Well, it'll be April 26th. So there's still a possible run. I mean, I don't mind if there's the demise of the Astros. They've won enough, but it's just, I kept on thinking, because Altuve's having a great season and stuff. So I was thinking that, they're going to bounce back. But right now they're way down there. They're way behind the pack of everyone else in that division, because everyone else is kind of
which is I think a lot of, if you're a baseball fan, a lot of people like to see the Astros not do good after the scandal they had, and especially the way they handled it with Correa, just deal with it. We won, which I'm fine with. I think cheating is part of baseball. I think they went a little above and beyond. Sorry, Rob, the Red Sox kind of did that too. And Bet said they didn't do it in the World Series. But I mean, for me, I think cheating's kind of part of baseball. You just,
don't worry. The Yankees have been known to do it.
Oh, they did it too. And in my opinion, and every team was doing the same.
The Astros took it to another level, though.
Every team was doing the same exact thing. The Astros were doing it, just not to that extent. So my opinion on that, when people start getting mad that they should take it away, I'm like, this is baseball. Every team, just because the Astros got caught, don't tell me every team probably would do the same exact thing.
Yeah, I know. No, that's it, man. It's all about not getting caught.
Yeah, I mean, if every team said, hey, we can do this, and you know what pitch is coming. These are guys, MLB players. If you say 103-mile-per-hour fastball is coming, they're going to hit it. If we saw Altuve with Aroldis Chapman, who he sat on a slider and put it out because he was getting it. So it's like, these guys are MLB players. If you're going to tell me what's coming, I played college ball. If you say, hey, curveball's coming, I'm going to sit on a curveball and hit it.
I mean, people have been trying to, like you said, it's just the level they did it, I guess. It's the only, because they've been stealing signs for years. I mean, they were stealing signs, when Ty Cobb was playing baseball, teams would try to steal signs. And so it's been generations of everything. So they just went, taking it, banging on garbage cans and all that was kind of, going over the top. But, it is what it is. But, yeah, I can see why, people love to hate. And the Astros gave people a good reason to want to hate on them. So, all
right, Rob. Well, the AL West is boring for me. I don't really care about that. Obviously, Montgomery coming back is the only big thing going in the West. And
all right, well, now I get to ask the host a question?
Yeah, let's go for it.
All right, what do you think of this closer clock for the Oakland A's? I know it's like, you could say basically who cares about the Oakland A's, but Mason Miller, he's hit 103.3 miles per hour, 102.5 a couple of times to strike people out. What do you think, man? Is that sustainable on the arm? Is this kid just special, or just guys just special? What do you think of? He's a guy with flying in the radar because no one cares about the Oakland A's. They don't even have a city, really. They're going to be moving around.
I mean, hey, Rob, I think he's very, very good. Is it sustainable? I don't know. I mean, we've seen guys throw like this hard. Obviously, Aroldis Chapman had his good time with the Reds. He didn't do as good with the Yankees. I don't know if it's sustainable as much because people are going to be like, "Hey, what else? What's your secondary pitch?"
Right,
And
because if that's all you throw, they're gonna start hitting 103. I mean, so it's just like,
I mean, the guy's got solid movement on that fastball.
yeah.
But I mean, and being a scout, a former scout, excuse me, it's like, you like to see a strong secondary pitch to throw him off the fastball. If he's throwing just a 103, what does he got? Now, did you see the Jared Jones is a guy I scouted in high school. He's out of La Mirada High School. Did you see
Man,
his
that's
fast?
right. I don't know if you just stole my thunder. You stealing my thunder on purpose. That was my next question to you. He has the most swings and misses this year, and that's why he's on my thumbnail. People are probably saying, "Why is a Pittsburgh Pirate that's not Paul Skeens on the thumbnail?" But this kid, Jared Jones, he has been crazy. He has the most swings and misses of any pitcher this year, so his stuff's nasty. If you start bringing Skeens, I mean, it's going to be a pretty good damn road. The Pirates have some bright future, maybe. If these guys, of course,
I don't know. I don't
barring
know if you
injuries,
saw that against the Brewers, where he threw that fastball that just cut straight into the left-handed hitter and almost hit him in the groin, and the guy goes all the way around.
Yeah, I know because you don't. I know that's crazy. I saw that too.
But
And
yeah, I mean, we're all. I think we're all waiting for Skeens to come up. For me, I'm definitely waiting. I mean,
but
this guy's just a overpowering AAA hitting. He's
but
obviously still got a 0 ERA.
so Russell, when you go hit that thumbs up for us later over on YouTube, you will see my thumbnail, and it has Jared Jones as on there, and I got Gunnar Henderson again just
Gunnar
because.
Henderson. But I mean, obviously, we've talked in this podcast before the podcast. I mean, I want to see Skeens up. Why do you think he's not up, Rob?
I think it's for control. Because and then like you said, you've heard your soap opera story. You can
Oh man,
share.
it's the one the reason I was rooting against Kansas City Chiefs is because of the whole Taylor Swift, Travis Kelsey. Don't get me wrong, I really like Taylor Swift. I think she's a phenomenal musician and unbelievable. But I was
You just don't
so
want the Swifties coming after you. I like that disclaimer. So
yeah. But yeah, I do. I'm a big Taylor Swift family. I think she's phenomenal. But the whole drama, and I keep on hearing about Taylor Swift on my. I'm watching a football game, and then we talking about Taylor Swift. The whole thing with the Pirates announcer goes, well, they're not going to call up Skeens until his girlfriend Livy Dunn is done with gymnastics. I really don't hope that is, because we both think he's just doing too good in the minor leagues. You just got to give him a shot. But
I mean, he's ready to. It's not a high school kid that you drafted last year out. I mean, this kid's a college kid. He went to the Air Force, willing at first he was going to have to serve his country and do all that. Then he probably realized, oh, wait a minute, I'm really kicking butt. Maybe I want to. That major league money's a lot more than military salary. So he says, so he got out and went over to LSU. And I mean, all around though, he seems like a really good young man. He's just solid guy, great pitcher. Get the man up. He's a matured kid at this. He's not a kid anymore. I
no,
mean, he's a
yeah, he's
man.
not a kid, and it's. I mean, it's a exact opposite of Jackson Holiday, who's what 20 now.
Yeah,
This
I know,
guy's a
20, just out of high school being drafted high. I mean, this guy had
22-year-old
the
man
college.
who played, obviously started the Air Force, but played meaningful, solid baseball games in the SEC, which were,
Won a
as we can
national championship. Yeah.
won a national championship, and like we're seeing, there's a lot of unbelievable players who came from the SEC in big leagues contributing right now. So I mean, get him up.
Yeah. No, I agree. Now more of a fun note. So your manager of the New York Yankees gets ejected from a game for basically something a fan yelled out during the game. So what are your thoughts on that
Oh
and the
my God!
umpires
Well,
reaction? Like, I don't care who said it.
I'm not surprised that they thought that was Aaron Boone, because as we know, last year Aaron Boone's big thing was, I stick up for my players and get kicked out. I hate Aaron Boone. So I'm not surprised these umpires are already on high alert because he talks so much.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of bizarre where you even saw he's just sitting there just like this, not saying anything, and the umpire just turns around and tosses him out because this fan is just riding him. It was kind of funny.
No, it was really funny. Remind me, and then Boone's reaction kind of reminds me of like the bigger brother getting mad, getting blamed for something the little brother did. Like, Mom, it wasn't me. It was him. It was Russell. I didn't do it. That's my his reaction. It wasn't me. So this time it wasn't. Maybe the 99 times before it was, but this time it wasn't me. So.
But all right. So before we get into your stats, I want a month through the season. Give me for you one surprising team that you surprise in the NL right now.
In the NL, well, kind of on the flip side of surprise, I'm surprised. I know the Marlins aren't great, but I don't think they're as bad as 6-20. So that's kind of surprising to me that they're so low. Not saying I thought they were going to get back to the playoffs or anything, but on the bad surprise side, to me, the Florida Marlins on that. On the bright side of surprise, you touched on it earlier, the Milwaukee Brewers being on top of the division as we sit here in April 26th. And so that's kind of the bright surprise. But so the bad surprise is the Marlins. Do I think they're a great team? No. But do I think they're a 6-20 team? No. And then the Brewers are my good surprise.
I am 100% with you. You stole my thunder. I'm going straight Brewers. They're a surprise, obviously. 16-8, top of the NL Central. I did not see this coming. I thought they would be sellers, and they've proven me wrong. So you stole my thunder on that. Thank you, Rob.
But hey, you stole mine on the Jared Jones. So
yeah, right. But I 100% agree with you that I think they're a big surprise. Marlins, I did not think were going to be a above 500 team, but 6 wins. These are still MLB ball players, but they're also rattled with injuries.
Yeah, no, they are just like my team.
Let's see. All right, let's go. AL's loaded this year, so I'm going to give you 2 for the AL because we're both AL guys.
My surprise, okay. Again, I would go a negative surprise. Houston Astros, which to me, it's not too negative as we already the reasons we discussed. But I am surprised that they're sitting here only at 7 wins. There's one more win than the Marlins. So that surprised me. On the flip side, I thought once the Guardians lost, their Cy Young award-winning type pitcher, I thought that was going to be a major blow to them. But here we are. They're sitting at 18-7. And, kudos to them because their manager retired and everything. So to me, I was thinking they may. So they're kind of like both of the central leaders in the American League and National League. I'm not being too original. They are both my surprise positive team. I am really surprised that Cleveland's kicking butt like they are.
Well, I think I locked myself up because I'm saying 2 teams, and I'm already looking at the stands. I like about 3 or 4 teams. My 2 teams I'm really surprised, not really surprised about. One is Detroit, still looking solid, and Kansas City, both competitive. But this is the one that's going to really surprise people. I'm 100% surprised as the Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas A's are 10-16. They took 2 from my Yankees. So nobody's talking about this A's team.
That's true. They do have a better. Red Sox swept them. I'm happy with that. But, after the Red Sox swept them, that kind of woke them up. So they won a lot.
I'm very surprised this team is sitting in the dilapidated Oakland Coliseum, going to leave to a ballpark that's got 15,000 seats in it with outfield, sitting, you got grass in the outfield for seating, but they're 10-16 where, nobody's talking about the A's. I mean, this is baseball. This could be July and all of a sudden the A's are right there in the hunt. So that's my number one really massive surprise.
That's a good one. I missed that one. I agree. I kind of agree with you. No, that is a surprise that they're, not saying they're great, but that they're just,
I
hey,
mean, this is
they're above the Astros right now.
like we said, like you said before, nobody's ever talking about the A's, and they got this exciting guy Mason Miller, and they got a lot of young guys. I mean, yeah, they're obviously not at the top of the AL, but they've got 10 wins, only six
Yeah.
games under 500. So I think that's the biggest surprise. And obviously, we know everything else is happening where they don't really have a home. They're moving to Sacramento next year. So,
Yeah.
but let's move into a little stats. What you got for me?
All right. Well, if we want just traditional stats, I'm going to go home runs first. Home runs, Mike Trout, number 1 at 10. Ozuna, as you mentioned earlier, number 2 at 9. Gunnar Henderson comes in at number 3 with 8. Then we got a whole bunch of guys tied at 7. One I have to mention by name because he happens to wear my team's favorite uniform. Tyler O'Neill has 7, but there's a whole bunch of guys tied at 7. And so a lot of guys are crushing the ball. I don't see any of your guys. I don't want to leave out anyone there, but yeah, okay. So that's it. A lot of guys tied at 7. And then for OPS, you basically can say Mookie Betts is the best there. Ozuna, Otani, and then the young superstar that can run bases like not many others, Eli De La Cruz. He is up there too in the OPS. This guy's going to end up being an all-around player, man, a threat. He's a young, speaking of guys that can play shortstop, young. He's another young superstar, and I'm here for it, even though he's not on my team, but it is what it is. And then I'm an old school guy. I still like batting average. I know a lot of the younger guys, they're more into the OPS and the OPS, all that good stuff. But for me, average, Mookie Betts once again is number 1 at 374. And then Willem Contreras, a catcher. There's some catchers hitting the ball well this year. If you look at the top averages, a lot of them are catchers right now. So it's very interesting because you got Willem Contreras, Will Smith, and Salvador Perez all up there hitting, right around 350 something. So that's fun as we discuss that stuff. So basically, those are the stats I like, and it is what it is. Stolen base, real quick, stolen bases. Eli De La Cruz, 15. No, sorry. Yeah, 15 stolen bases. Bryce Turang, he has 12. So we're getting a lot of guys there with some stolen bases too. That part of the game is exciting. I like that kind of that they brought back. I know it's bigger bases and yada yada yada. Pitcher can only throw over or disengage twice. And so it gives you a little more like, oh, okay, I know he's not coming over. I'm going to run or whatever. So it's just like, to me, I like the running of the game. It's fun. It adds to the excitement. Of course, they say chicks dig the long ball, but so do us guys. We love the long ball. So it's fun. Who doesn't love a home run when you're at the stadium and you hear that crack of the bat and you start raising up in your seat to see if it has enough to get out? That's an exciting time in the ballpark. But it's also fun seeing these guys run around the bases. So I think that's kind of fun.
And on the umpires, on the umpires note, yeah, I could see that. The one umpire, I think everybody can agree with me that we all dislike.
Angel Hernandez.
And yeah, you got Angel Hernandez. The man is on a tear this year for bad calls, but we won't ride him too hard. But yeah, Angel Hernandez. We don't even need to bring it up. We all know he's not very good.
Scotty, Russell and I've discussed this a couple weeks ago before he left for his vacation. There's a combination of stuff. Yes, people are blaming the pitch clock. People are blaming the higher velocity that all these kids are being taught at a young age that they used to be told to avoid some certain pitches and this. They're being taught at a young age. And then, believe it or not, even tacky stuff on the hands and stuff has been used as an excuse. So I don't know, but it could be, Scotty. It could be, but I don't know. from a baseball player that you played all the way up to college, do you think it really makes a difference whether a pitcher has to throw a pitch quicker because of a pitch
I
clock?
really don't know. I
I know
cannot.
you didn't pitch. I know, but
I agree with you. I think it's players playing more games young, is my opinion, and more kids are starting to, instead of playing more sports or focusing on playing baseball. These kids, obviously, we're seeing the showcase circuit and all these. They're playing almost 100, a full MLB game, and they're MLB, slate at age 13. So I think that could be it, where these guys' arms aren't fully developed. But Rob, we're a month in the season. I think it's going good so far, and
I'm
I
enjoying
love
it.
it.
I haven't missed the Red Sox game yesterday. Tonight is going to be the biggest challenge because classic matchup of the Red Sox and the Cubs. I'm going to have it on my little tablet while I'm watching the NFL draft. But it'll be the first game I really. Yesterday, the baseball god signed a pound on me. Even though the Red Sox lost, but the Red Sox played an afternoon game on the night on the day of the draft. So I was able to see Red Sox in the afternoon. Dolphins draft or NFL draft at night. But as you know, I'm a little biased. I have one team in mind when I say NFL draft talk, and it's the Dolphins. I am Dolphins thirsty after all. Rich, before I let you do your thing, Russ, I'm going to do a little plug. If you guys like the NFL draft, make sure you check out Finn's Talk Sports Network. They'll be on all night to the draft. I dropped in for a second last night after the Dolphins made their pick, just to chime in that I don't like spoiled picks, I'll be honest. So I don't, they were tipping picks. So I don't, but if you guys, tonight round two is not not as bad as hearing the picks that way. Me, I'm this old school. I wanted to hear the commissioner walk up to the podium and call the name. I go social media dark on draft night.
Yeah,
And
I'm 100% with you, and I'm still learning most of the guys on the learning, meeting some of the guys on the network. I'm pretty sure Scotty was the guy who did everything. I tuned in a little bit, all the work he did. It was a solid job. I tuned in. So if you like the draft, tune into Finn's Talk. They got it all locked up. Ton of guys on there giving their opinions. So they do a phenomenal job. Rob, this is always a pleasure. I always look forward to Friday. Everybody who tuned in today, thank you very much. This is On Deck on the Finn's Talk Sports Network. I'm Russ Morgan here with Rob Mosley.
Hold on one second. Let me ask Scotty one question. One Dolphin related. I'm sorry, Scotty. Give me a couple names that you're looking for tonight, Scotty. I want to know a couple names you're looking for. I'm looking for some offensive linemen and stuff. Are you on the clock at all tonight? When do the Jets pick tonight?
We got 72 in the third round. So now we're off in the second round.
Okay. So anyway, I want to see a quick name from you, Scotty, and then I will close it out. I just want to see. Give me one name, Scotty, for tonight.
Well, I know the name Scotty might talk about, but he's not going to be there at the Dolphins pick.
Haynes, BB, right off. There you go.
Those are all right. I know Scotty likes Jackson Power Johnson, but I don't think he'll be there.
Yeah, Sanders. Oh yes, me either. Even though I think Dolphins Twitter will be going nuts again.
But as always, this is On Deck. I'm Russ Morgan here with Rob Mosley. Thank you for tuning in. You have a nice morning.
Thank you, guys. Batter up. See you next week.